Today on CityLine, marking our country's 250th anniversary through art. The project's giving us a deeper understanding of we the people. As America turns 250, a new Boston mural is sparking a broader conversation about who we are and our nation's history. The Midnight Ride is currently on display at Dewey Square Park on the Greenway. You can't miss it. The public artwork recognizes the country's 250th anniversary by drawing on parallel histories from the Revolutionary era. The Rose Kennedy Greenway Conservancy, Embrace, and Everyone 250 teamed up to make the mural happen. It was created by Boston-born artist Rixy, and she joins us this morning to talk more about this stunning piece of art. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. I've seen this mural, and it's striking when you see it, right? Your mural is a colorful combination of history, creativity, and fantasy. The name references the historic Midnight Ride taken by Paul Revere in 1776, and the lesser-known Midnight Ride of Sybil Ludington. She's said to have ridden on horseback to alert troops of a British attack in 1777. But the figure in your mural, shows neither. Who does this mural depict?
Yes, the mural really depicts a little bit of everybody, of all the women that to me are revolutionary, the underrepresented stories of my community, of my culture, of people that I feel deserve that space to say their stories in the history of the revolution. So really wanting to make a character that defines all the people that I know of, and like this future of an identity that is as empowered, as like put in the spotlight and represented like us.
How did you get this idea? I mean, to come up with this concept is not easy in itself, but how did that come to be?
Yeah, so the Rose Kennedy Greenway, they put out this open call process to respond to America 250 and a revolutionary spirit. I think immediately in that moment, I thought about how can I make a monument that speaks to like my culture, generation, identity. And so I wanted to think about symbolism and monuments that are around us and how there aren't that many that defines the people and the voices that I know. So I instantly thought of, like you said, the Paul Revere story, the Midnight Ride. What do I know and what don't I know? And how can I like reimagine, recontextualize, and figurations kind of like the Statue of Liberty almost, and all the aspects that I love, fantasy and world building, and just try to combine that into my own like superhero Lady Liberty monument that can really speak to so many voices that I hear all the time.
Honestly, it really comes through. I mean, I smiled immediately when I saw it.
Yes.
One thing also that's not in this mural, the typical American flag, right? How did you find a way to incorporate elements of the flag in this piece?
Yeah, I wanted to reconstruct the like color palette, right? It's not essentially a color palette that I might use a lot in my work. I'm very like hot pink and glitter and black sometimes. And thinking about how red, white, and blue can be very hard and stoic. It has so much reference. So how can I reconstruct it in a way that felt more palatable, right? So the blue to me is that midnight essence, and wanting to think of the horse as this like deep blue, like seed of emotions, of like, vigor and power. The white and the creaminess of the flag, and how it makes me think of like protection and purity, and draping her in this like soft fabric of like love and protection. And then red, I really think about the red stripes as like red threads, and how that connects people, and we are all part of like this fabric. So I wanted to really think about symbolism, turn it around, reconstruct it, and kind of just how we really reinterpret like ideas around us.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
And know there's a whole process here.
Oh,
that
of course,
most people, they don't see it all. I know I saw you up there though, doing the work. You were chosen to paint this mural after the Conservancy had its first national open call for this site. So what went into the creation of this artwork?
Definitely.
It's not easy.
No, you're up there like almost 80 feet in the air. There's so much like relationship between you, the Greenway, your community itself. So a lot of the process, what I know how to do is paint, so that's probably the easier part. But everything else in terms of like building that trust and the developing the conversations is really like the biggest part of the process. Really trying to find a way where I also brought in two friends of mine to help me paint, Ayana and Seiji, both amazing artists. So finding a process that works with this all women's team to be able to work in the amount of time with the space, you know, the process really took a lot of, I love some laying it on the table, looking at it, let's make it make sense. And I try to tell people, like, it is going to be stressful. It is going to be a large, tiring production, but we're going to have a good time. So the process to me had to be fluid, had to make sense, and so that everybody felt like really good and excited about it.
And it took what, like you told me a little bit earlier, about a month to complete.
About a month and maybe like a week or two, given some like rain dates. But you know, like that excitement and the adrenaline, I'm like barely sleeping because I'm just like, I just want to wake up and go paint already, you know, and the excitement to like be here, to be able to share it with other people. Like that's what like constantly getting me excited to like have a complete conversation with other people, you know. The
passion is there for sure. Talking about the conversation, what conversations do you hope this mural leads to? And what have you been hearing so far from people, you know, stopping by and checking out the piece?
I think a lot of the initial reactions from people, my favorite are like little girls and little kids that are like, oh, look at the horse, or look at that goddess, that superhero, that like magical being. I love that. You know, their imagination is what inspires me to keep, you know, coming up with creative solutions. I think, you know, imagination is what's going to help us get there in life. So that's my favorite reaction. And I also love that it's a place for people to safely talk about like the aspects of the world and life that we're dealing with right now. You know, I'm really hoping and encouraging that people like use this as like a safe third space. You know, public art really invites people to come together and talk about the themes and subjects that are there. And usually we don't feel always comfortable or confident to be able to talk about like the state of the world and like, you know, what history has done and the stories we're trying to tell. So I really want to encourage, you know, young folks to ask questions, older folks to keep asking questions, and for us to build that conversation in a very magical, safe space, like in front of the mural at the Greenway, and that's my goal.
Beautifully said. You know, I know this mural is far from being your first. You were recently part of the Boston Blackout Walls Mural Festival,
so fun.
Which is a project dedicated to celebrating Roxbury, where you're from. You've also created other murals in Massachusetts over the years.
Absolutely.
What's your favorite part about leaving your mark on these communities?
I love thinking of them as like a love letter, you know, so like oftentimes, aside from the Roxbury one, you know, I'm from there, but I don't live there anymore. So I get to like leave a gift and leave like a love letter to the people I got to meet while I was there, you know. And I love that every time it kind of looks like a portal to where it can encourage people to see something in themselves, ask those questions, really like get out of some of our daily life that can be restricted and contained. So I love leaving murals that are colorful. It excites people, makes them want to go draw and think about awesome things, or, you know, excites their creativity in life. And anytime I can leave a piece somewhere that has felt like a piece of home to me, or like the people have felt so like homey and family, you know, I want to be able to leave murals that it can kind of like be a placemaker and define the history of that area in some way by thinking of like dreams and fantasies. It's a beautiful moment to just like all come together around color and paint.
Please keep leaving your gifts around the communities. We appreciate them. We love to see them. And thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. All right, still ahead, portraits, newspapers, and powerful stories. How a new exhibit explores the role of photographs in our collective history.